I thought being broke was the hardest thing I would ever experience. I was wrong. The hardest thing was carrying everyone else's problems while silently falling apart myself. After losing my father and watching my mother struggle with her health, my younger siblings depended on me for everything. If I didn't work, we didn't eat. There was no time to fall apart, no time to dream, only survival. Then I met Clara. For the first time in years, I felt like someone actually saw me. She listened to my fears, my frustrations, and the pressure I carried every single day. I even shared my biggest dream with her. I wanted to build my own fashion brand. I wanted to create beautiful dresses that made people feel confident. It was the only dream I had that belonged entirely to me. Then I met Kenneth. At first, he felt like peace. He checked on me, made me laugh. For once, I felt chosen instead of needed. But sometimes people don't show you who they are immediately. The calls became less frequent. The affection slowly disappeared. And before long, I found myself fighting for attention from someone who had already stopped valuing me. Then I discovered he was cheating. Heartbroken and confused, I turned to the person I trusted most, Clara. I expected her to tell me to walk away. Instead, she told me to stay. She said all relationships had problems. She said love required patience. So I stayed. I forgave. I hoped. Again and again. For 3 years, I convinced myself that things would get better. Until the night Kenneth hit me. And in that moment, something inside me broke. Or maybe something inside me finally woke up. I called Clara again, desperate for reassurance that leaving was the right decision. But once again, she encouraged me to give him another chance. She said people make mistakes. I remember sitting there in silence, trying to understand how someone who cared about me could overlook the pain I was living through. A part of me wanted to believe she was right. Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe if I loved harder, stayed longer, and became more understanding, things would finally change. But deep down, I was exhausted. I was tired of making excuses for people who kept hurting me. Tired of abandoning myself just to keep everyone else comfortable. For the first time, I stopped asking what everyone else needed from me and started asking what I needed from myself. That's when I started questioning everything. Why was the person who cared about me always asking me to tolerate pain? I realized that if my life was going to change, I had to be the one to change it. So I made a decision that terrified me. I had no savings, no backup plan, just talent and determination. With nothing but talent and determination, I started making custom dresses from home. The beginning wasn't easy. Some days I sold nothing at all, but giving up was no longer an option. Then Chris ordered a dress for his sister. Unlike everyone else, he saw more than just the finished product. He saw potential. When I told him about my dream of owning a fashion studio, he didn't laugh. He believed in me. Slowly, my business began to grow, and so did our relationship. For the first time in years, life felt hopeful again. Then Chris gave me something I never expected, a chance. He surprised me with a shop space he had already paid for. For the first time in a very long time, someone wasn't adding to my burdens. They were helping me carry them. As my business grew, Clara seemed happy for me. At least that's what I thought. But slowly, her encouragement became warnings. She told me not to expand too quickly. She questioned every decision I made. The more I grew, the more she seemed uncomfortable with my success. When I expanded my business again, I didn't tell Clara immediately. When she found out, she confronted me. What started as hurt quickly became something else. That's when I realized that not everyone who supports you wants to see you outgrow the version of yourself they are comfortable with. The friend I thought was protecting me had been holding me back. I finally chose myself. I set boundaries. And I walked away from a friendship that no longer allowed me to grow. Clara eventually apologized, and I forgave her. Not because what happened didn't hurt, but because carrying resentment would only keep me tied to a chapter I had already outgrown. I learned that support isn't just listening when someone is struggling. Support is celebrating their growth, even when it takes them beyond where they started. Some people are meant to stay in your life. Others are meant to teach you lessons. And sometimes, loving yourself means accepting that not everyone is meant to continue the journey with you. Because not everyone who walks beside you is meant to walk with you forever.